Welcome back to our Steven. I'm your host, Steven. Some assembly has been required for quite some time now, and today, from parents prying into their child's intimate life to a mom acting like a toddler, we've got some crazy entitled parent stories, all starting with a post titled, "My Parents Changed Their Plans and Are Ruining My Birthday." For context, I turned 21 on Monday. I go to university, but I came home for the weekend and Monday, both because it's my birthday and because my parents were going to be out of town. My mom wanted to go somewhere for Valentine's Day, and they were also going to be gone on my birthday. They wanted me to babysit my little brother and our dog, which I was fine with. I was honestly relieved they wouldn't be around, since the relationship between my mom and I is testy. She's ruined a couple of my birthdays before, both over my brother. She yelled at me on my 16th birthday for not being happy enough because it was ruining the day for my brother. She also yelled at me on my 20th because I wanted to have a private dinner with my parents and she wanted to bring my brother. I was glad she wasn't going to be around and I started making plans to celebrate my birthday as I wanted. I was going to walk dogs at the local shelter because the weather is supposed to be fantastic and I love the dogs. I didn't want cake, so my sister and I were going to go to an Asian bakery to get some red bean mochi, my favorite, and try these good-looking matcha lattes. I was also going to go into the city with my best friend and check out some cool thrift stores, and maybe try alcohol for the first time. My mom would never allow it. My parents were supposed to leave Thursday night, but my mom changed her mind on Monday and decided that an exotic trip would be too expensive. They just bought a $9,000 hot tub because my mom was jealous one of my dad's friends had one, and they went to a pro game in a nearby city instead. They're just going to be gone for a night. We're already off to a bad start. My mom ignored that I want mochi and bought a cake, which is nice, but it's a kind I don't like. I got really sick after eating it once, and both her and my sister can't eat gluten, plus my dad and brother don't like it that much either since it has coffee in it. So it's a cake that no one can eat or no one likes. Yay. We had another bad incident earlier because I walked dogs after work as I'd promised to do 2 weeks ago, thinking my parents would be out of town and my brother and dog would be watched by my aunt. I even double-checked with my aunt to make sure that she was fine with this. My parents got wind and were ticked. I got 3 angry phone calls and 1 text from mom saying that I'm too old to be this irresponsible, leaving my brother and dog with my aunt, and to realize that my actions affect other people. Which, yeah, I guess I could have called my parents first, but they don't like that I volunteer at this shelter. My mom especially thinks that I care too much about these dogs. If they had it their way, they wouldn't want me at the shelter ever again. Then this evening, I got a series of texts from my mom and my sister. Mom and dad might try to go to a church in the city they're at now because this homesteader Ruby Frank-esque YouTuber goes there, and my mom is obsessed with her. Like, she wants our house to look like hers, and she wants to see this lady, which, I mean, whatever floats her boat. But she wants my sister and I to stay home and babysit our brother and dog, and not to leave until she and dad get back. Tomorrow is the day we were going to go to the Asian bakery to get our mochi. We can't go in the afternoon because my sister has to go back to her uni town. We've told mom this. She just forgot, I guess. So am I right to be upset about this entire situation? I can't celebrate my birthday like I'd planned, and I'm being expected to prioritize my brother above my birthday. Am I selfish for thinking this is wrong? Am I overreacting for being upset? You know, I think the thing that annoys me the most here on OP's behalf is not just the fact that it's their birthday, but that this is all also taking place during a long weekend that OP chose to go home from university. Welcome home, my child, on a 3-day weekend that's your birthday weekend. Can you do babysitting for us? Enjoy this cake that literally nobody can eat. A user named Miss DGMA left a comment saying, "Just out of curiosity, how old is your brother? If you're 21, does he really need a babysitter? I would suggest your parents hire one for him or let him hang out at a friend's house." The OP responded, "He is 17. He is on the autism spectrum and functions at about the level of a 10-year-old. He does know how to make food and take care of himself, but he definitely can't be left by himself for an entire weekend." Another user named Maleficent Ends Curse left a comment saying, #leave. Your mom blatantly ruins your birthday every year. Leave now, go permanent no contact, block her and anyone else that's not on your side from your phone and social medias. Have a fun day to yourself. Have a great birthday also. Save your mental health for her ridiculousness. The OP responded, "Thank you, and unfortunately that's not going to be very easy. I'm on my family's auto and health insurance, and they support me financially. When I'm done with school and can live independently, I will limit my contact." And speaking of birthdays, if you want to give me the best birthday gift ever, it would be pretty awesome if you could hit those like and subscribe buttons down below. It would really make my birthday that happened 2.5 months ago feel very special. Our next story is, Mom asked me to take her child's dirty diaper in a parking lot. I'm not sure if this belongs here or elsewhere, but this is the closest I can think of. Earlier today, I went to the grocery store to do a bit of shopping for a surprise dinner I was thinking of cooking for my fiancé. When I parked my car, I stayed in there for a couple of minutes responding to an email. Next to my car was a Subaru Outback, and the tailgate of it was open. I didn't pay it too much mind, as I noticed a woman there earlier. Once I finished my email, I stepped out, and the smell of baby feces hit me like a tsunami. I went to the back of my car to grab the reusable bags from there. As I stepped to the back of my car, I noticed why the Subaru tailgate was open for so long. The woman back there was changing diapers on 2 kids. The putrid smell was coming from one of those cheap metal and soft plastic baby strollers sitting next to the car that one of the babies had a severe blowout in. I just grabbed my bags and started to walk toward the store. I had my headphones in, so when the woman said something in my direction, I didn't notice it. As I walked past her, she tapped my shoulder with her crap-covered hand. I recoiled, pulled out a headphone, and asked, "What the freak?" She rolls her eyes at me, points to the still open diapers sitting next to one of the kids, and goes, "Can you take those to the trash?" I must have made a disgusted face, but not wanting to be rude, I didn't say anything, opened up my car, and grabbed the wet wipes I keep in my emergency kit to wipe off the crap from my shirt. It smelled horrid still, so I changed into my emergency t-shirt. I had an undershirt on below my shirt, so I didn't worry about taking my shirt off in public at that point. I closed my truck and walked around so she wouldn't be able to touch me. When I came out of the store and walked to my car, the smell was still there. The car was gone, but she had left the blown-out baby stroller, and the open diapers had been left next to the parking spot. What the heck? Why are some parents like this? So I gotta jump in and speculate. It has to be substances, right? Do people actually act like this that aren't on something? Your baby has a blowout in the stroller. You have a vehicle that has a tailgate. You just leave the stroller there. You tap on somebody else with your crap-covered hand. You leave the diapers just sitting there. I would look at that and I would think to myself, is it too late to try to call CPS? A user named Pilot Environmental left a comment saying, "She touched you with crap-stained hands?" Absolutely not. So gross. You are a lot nicer than I would have been. The OP responded, "Not stains. She straight up had crap-covered hands." Our next story is, my mom tried to use my curling wand on her 2 inches, 3 to 4 centimeters hair, burned herself, and then went full psycho on me. So my mom is kind of insane. Like, I grew up with her and she just has these random outbursts of rage for no reason at all. Yesterday, we were getting ready for a birthday party. I was doing my hair with this curling wand, and I have really long hair past my shoulders, and this wand is literally just a hot metal rod. No protection or anything. You have to be super careful or use a glove, you know? My mom has asked to use it so many times before, and every single time I tell her, "Mom, it's not going to work. Your hair is too short." Like, mind you, her hair is maybe 1 to 2 inches or 2 to 3 centimeters long. There is literally nothing to curl, especially with this exact curling wand. But she comes in, already in a bad mood, and starts getting really aggressive, saying she wants to use it now. Just to avoid a huge scene while we're getting ready for the party, I'm just like, fine, and give it to her. She starts trying to curl her tiny hair while being totally ticked off, and obviously she keeps burning her hands the whole time because there's no hair to wrap around it. She literally keeps scalding herself. And she gets even angrier, as if it's somehow my fault. She eventually just threw the wand away and started screaming like a lunatic. "Why did you buy this useless piece of crap? This is such a waste of money. How can you be so stupid?" She just kept running around and screaming. I just don't understand why my explanation wasn't enough for her to realize that it won't work on her. I feel like this is like if somebody with no teeth insists, "Oh, give me one of those apples, I'll have one of those to eat." It's like me at 13 with my dad's electric shaver trying to make sure the 5 o'clock shadow doesn't come in too quick. Like, what are you doing that for? There's nothing there to use it on. A user named Karen Donner left a comment saying, "Oh, this sucks, and she'll be berating you until the burns heal." Did she think wand implied some magic? The OP responded, "Since the incident, she hasn't said a single word about it. After her outbursts, she always acts like everything is totally normal and pretends like nothing ever happened. The thing with the magic wand kills me." Our next story is, parents felt entitled to my hookup life after I got a boyfriend. I'm 19-year-old female and in college, on track to graduate in 2028. I recently made things official with my boyfriend. We've known each other since 2017. After that, my parents suddenly escalated control. My dad started repeating, "Your body is a temple," and "finish school nonstop," even though I'm actively enrolled and on track. He then began asking if I'm a virgin, what my boyfriend and I talk about, and even my boyfriend's race. At the same time, my mom kept asking if I was pregnant over and over until I got so anxious that I took a pregnancy test just to stop the interrogation. I wasn't pregnant, but what stood out to me was the entitlement, acting like they had a right to my body, my hookup life, and my medical status simply because I'm their child. Nothing like this has happened before I got a boyfriend. The timing makes it clear this wasn't about concern, it was about control. There comes a time in every young woman's life when their father sits them down and goes, "My darling, my pride and joy, are you a virgin?" I mean, you're 19 years old and you're in college. It is repulsive that your dad is like, "Now tell me honestly, sweetheart, are you a virgin?" Like, oh, why even ask that? What's next? Telling them that he ordered a chastity belt for them off Amazon? A user named Lady D BDS left a comment saying, "They are certainly going overboard. Obviously, they're stressing you getting pregnant and abandoning your studies. Think being on some sort of birth control would help them get off your back about those things, so you can breathe and enjoy your journey into adulthood." Our next story is, influencer wants small business to pay for their family to go on a ski holiday. This is a copy and paste of the post made by Glenshee Ski Hire in Scotland. Please show them some love. As a local, I cannot stress how incredible they and their staff are. So, it finally happened. We were contacted by the dreaded influencer. Their agency slid into our inbox asking for free ski and snowboard hire for their family in return for promoting Glenshee Ski Hire to their 350,000 followers. Our reply? Sure, let us know when you're coming and we'll get everything ready. Simple, friendly, local business vibes. Then came the invoice. Accommodation, £727 British. Travel, £456. Various expenditure, £500. Total, just over £1,700 British. For clarity, they wanted a small family-run ski hire business in Glenshee to pay them £1,700 so they could go skiing for 2 days for free. 1,700 quid. At this point, Agnes Dalrymple, 78, who opened the business in 1976, asked to deal with it personally via a phone call. From the next room, we think we heard the phrase, "Ram your influencers up your cars?" But we can't be sure. Anyway, massive thanks to our actual customers who don't invoice us for 1,700 quid and somehow still manage to enjoy skiing without a PR agency. See you all soon, the Ski Hire team. I mean, I don't really actually know how all of those influencer deals break down, but it sounded like a pretty good deal before they were trying to invoice 1,700 quid. I mean, clearly this is a place they wanted to go to. Like, from the Ski Hire side, it's a situation of, you came to us. We didn't go advertising and begging you to come to our place. In that situation, why would the ski hire ever pay them to come there? And all free services on top of paying them? Surely that influencer is not the kind of person that's going to have that level of secondhand exposure and advertisement. Now, maybe if somebody like a Taylor Swift or somebody with a massive audience fan base wanted to do it, then maybe they would pay for it. A user named Sean Prefect left a comment saying, "So to be clear, they wanted to not only be given the weekend for free, but then to be paid $1,700 on top?" VOP responded, "I don't know if it was clarified enough, but the influencers expected that small business pay them 1,700 quid, around 2,300 USD, for them to have a ski holiday." Our next story is, my mom throws temper tantrums when I don't like something she likes. My mother genuinely cannot distinguish her own interests and personality from mine, to the point where she stomps her feet, whines, and throws a tantrum whenever I dislike something she likes. It doesn't take away from her being able to like it, but somehow she takes it so personally that she whines in a baby voice like, "No, but it's nice," and gets upset and tries to convince me to like it. For example, a few years ago when I moved into college, she got me a bunch of decorations that she would like pink orchids, flowery candles and perfumes, and other pink sparkly things. I hate orchids and don't like pink or flowers in general, and have no use in any of the things she got. I said I don't like orchids, and she got upset. So I took the receipt and returned it to the store when she left. When she visited me for Parents' Weekend, she yelled, cried, and threw a fit because she saw the stuff wasn't there anymore. I've since graduated and moved to another city, and she still does this. When I visited home for Thanksgiving, she got me a super sparkly decoration that said something like, "Mommy's baby girl," with a bunch of hearts. She shoved it in my suitcase for when I went back to my city. I forgot about it, and when she FaceTimed me a few weeks ago, she saw my desk in the background and got upset because it wasn't on the desk. She also keeps saying, "You need to get plants for the apartment, it's too empty," and saying which plants she would want to get and where she would put them as if it's her apartment. And each time, I say no, I don't like plants, and she gets upset saying, "You're so boring," or, "Humph, you're just like your dad." In her mind, we are the same, so whatever she likes, I must like by extension. She has zero interest in asking or knowing what I would like because she only thinks of what she likes and then applies it to me. Every time she gives me a gift, it's always stuff she would want, and then eventually I just give it back to her and politely tell her to use it because I have too much stuff. She keeps saying things like, "That skincare brand you like, that shirt you want, your favorite shoe company, that lotion you love," and it's all things she likes or wants. She would get super disappointed and go, "But I like it," if I didn't want to buy something at the store. She's never once known a single interest of mine, and I think even if I told her, she would dismiss it because it's inconceivable to her that I would like something she doesn't. Does anyone else's mother act like this? You know, I myself can't say that I've ever experienced an adult acting quite like that, but if anything, I feel like I would be on the other side of it. I'm the kind of person that's almost too afraid to open up about what I like for the fear that other people might go, "Oh, that's crap," or "Oh, you're like that," or even maybe something like a childhood game that I still sometimes play and feeling like somebody might go, "Why are you still playing that?" A user named Godling Captain left a comment saying, "I'll add this, OP's mom's perfect family did not include adult children. The ideal was all of them perpetually together, frozen in time, and following her directions perfectly. She wants OP to be a dress-up doll and a mirror to her own greatness and a best friend and therapist and a pretty trophy to show off. OP being a grown adult disrupts not just all of her plans, but her self-image as well. I suspect some kind of fear of mortality or aging, and that OP being an independent individual who won't behave as a perfect mirror for her mom to project onto will be a grinding point until OP finally decides to go little or no contact." The OP responded to that comment saying, She wanted an IRL doll and a perpetual mini-me that she can relive her childhood through. It's also extra weird since I'm her only female child, and I'm not conventionally pretty, and also not feminine. I've had to deal with her insecurity about that for years. Yes, she's insecure about me not being pretty, not because it reflects back on her, but because her Sims avatar isn't how she wanted it to look. She's pestered me about makeup, skincare, hair stuff, Botox, and even plastic surgery for decades. Like, you need to fix that double chin. Why don't you wear makeup? You look too much like your dad. Why don't you have a girly style? Why don't you want to wear blue eyeshadow? You did before, when I was 11. Another user named Sorceress Heart left a comment saying, "The immaturity is making my skin crawl. Is she a baby or something? Every time she starts, just disengage with her." The OP responded, "I don't even listen to what she says, but when she wails and moans, it's just annoying to hear. She actually whines like she's 5. She goes, 'You don't like what mommy picked out,' and whines and stomps her feet as if she's in kindergarten." Our next story is, my sister got a $300 bag for Christmas, and I got a set of towels from a rewards program. So I have a pretty rocky relationship with my parents after I, 22-year-old female, came out to my parents last year and moved out of the home. For context, I grew up in a Christian household, and my parents had a lot of control over me until this all happened. They reacted really poorly at first, but have been trying to act like everything is fine now, while constantly making subtle digs at everything I do. I've cut them out of a lot of my life because of all of this, but I still do all the family events and see them every few months, and am very polite. We've already had our family Christmas this year, as my parents go interstate to see family, and me and my sister have other commitments with our partners. From the start, the whole day was pretty rocky, and my mom was already drunk by lunchtime, which didn't help all of her passive-aggressive comments. When it came to exchanging gifts, my sister and I both got these massive bags of presents, which is unusual for my family, so of course, I was excited. However, all the presents I got were 1. A framed photo of my parents, 2. A photo book of me and my parents, and 3. A set of cheap towels that I found out were most likely redeemed through a rewards program. On the other hand, my sister got a $300 bag that she had been wanting to buy, to add to her collection of 10 other bags and a bunch of other little gifts. While I don't much care about gifts, it really felt like a slap in the face that they're making this big deal about trying to reconnect with me and then blatantly show me that my sister is their favorite. Didn't make me feel very good about myself and reminded me again why I don't like to see them very often. Well, at least OP knows to temper their expectations. I think it's very succinct to say, I can only imagine it hurts. I mean, I'm willing to be just honest about it. I'm not the favorite child. I know I'm not the favorite child. Does it linger in my mind? It comes up from time to time, but I just let it serve as a little bit of context to how that relationship is. And of course, to not allow that to affect my relationship with my actual sibling. A user named OK Imagination left a comment saying, "Time to cut contact. Family are the people who love you and treat you well. Wishing you a Merry Christmas." The OP responded, "Yeah, every time I try and cut them out, I just get all these guilt-tripping messages from my mom, and it makes me feel so bad I just keep going back." Our next story is, that's not a changing table. So at work, we have these metal shelved wheeled carts that we use for bringing out new stock shipments or put together pickup orders on. Well, they sit in the hallway outside of the bathroom, and there's no reason for customers to touch them. Well, there was a mom in the store with a double stroller holding a set of toddler twin boys. Well, at one point, I was going back into our back area where our pickup orders are kept, just in time to see this mom coming out of our bathroom. Toddler in one arm and pushing one of our metal carts out of the bathroom with a dirty diaper sitting on top of it. It was obvious that she had purposely rolled it into the bathroom to use as a changing table. She saw me and she was like, "Don't worry, I'll bag it up so it doesn't stink," as if the dirty diaper was the issue. I just mumble okay, trying to keep the what the heck look off of my face as she leaves and immediately headed into our office to inform one of my managers so it could be sanitized or whatever. And my manager had the same reaction of what the heck and disgust. Yes, I know we probably should have changing tables, but our bathrooms really aren't for the customers. They can only be accessed by us letting them back into our staff area. I'm assuming what happened is one of the cashiers let her back there before returning to the registers, and she grabbed the cart when she realized we didn't have a changing area. Still doesn't make it right. Just go out to your car and change your toddler instead. No one wants to buy stuff that has had a toddler's naked butt on it. Okay, I'm gonna be honest, I feel like OP's being disingenuous here. It wasn't only a toddler's butt, it was a toddler's soiled butt. It's already bad enough, but when you add in that potent combo, yeah, I don't want my Cheez-It box coming off of the cart that had that on there previously. A user named Middle Earth left a comment saying, "In a pub restaurant, whilst we were eating our Sunday lunch, a bloke decided to bring his baby over, plop it on the floor next to our window table, and change its crappy nappy right there. From our table, we could see the sign for the baby changing room, so he didn't have much further to carry it. When he noticed us staring at him, he explained that he would only be a minute and he didn't want to change the nappy near his table because it stunk." I couldn't tell if he was talking about the nappy, the atmosphere on his table, or his attitude. Probably all three. The OP responded, "I once saw a mom changing a toddler easily close to 3, standing up right out in the open. Like everyone walking past on the sidewalk could see everything, and it was a busy area. The public bathrooms were right around the corner. The poor little guy looked really uncomfortable." Our next story is, sister-in-law wants to kick off my toddler to feed her baby in my high chair while mine's still eating. I keep a small floor seat with a tray at my in-laws, an hour and a half away, to feed my kids. I bought it for my son, who's now outgrown it, and my daughter, 18 months, now uses it whenever we visit. Now, my sister-in-law uses it to feed her 11-month-old when she visits her mom's every week, which is no problem when we aren't there. However, there's a second floor seat with a tray that's in the basement that her sister recently bought, but she insists on using mine? Even when I was visiting, she just takes it to feed her son. Meanwhile, I'm looking for a place to put my crying daughter, who's hungry to eat and is older so they can't fit in the other smaller seat, and sister-in-law just completely ignores the fact that she's using my seat for feeding her son, let alone ask or show any care. But it gets worse. The second time I visit, I'm feeding my daughter and she's still eating, and sister-in-law comes in with her son and asks if she's done. I said no, she still has to eat rice. And sister-in-law asks, does she need to eat rice right now? And I said, yes, she's having a meal. There's a second seat in the basement, you can just use that. And sister-in-law just gets annoyed and entitled and says, I'll just feed him in my arms. Okay, why does she feel so entitled to use my seat to the point where she wants to kick off my daughter mid-meal so her son can use the seat, all while there's a perfectly fine seat in the basement for her to use that fits her son? How do I approach the situation each time I visit? I love her son and I'm happy to share the seat, but her entitlement is so off-putting when she only cares about her son's meal and not my kids. I feel petty having to remind her that it's my seat I keep here for my kids, so she should use the other available one that doesn't fit them. Or at least ask? We're both expecting more children, so it seems like someone needs to cash out some money to get another seat or two. You know, I'll be honest, it kind of sounds like one of those situations where OP just kind of has to step up a little bit more. I mean, I'm right there with OP. If I'm in OP's shoes, it's family. OP likes the kid. You don't want to rock the boat or ruffle any feathers. I am a person that finds it very hard to say no to people. I think it's honestly one of my worst character flaws. I just find it like pulling teeth if somebody wants to do something that is reasonable enough for me to go, nah, not really feeling that. But OP just has to be a little bit firmer. A user named Biscuit Overlord left a comment saying, take it when you leave and bring it back every time you visit. She should get the message. Another user named 80s Action Movie Lover left a comment saying, or take a piece of it home or to your room, like the tray. It has to come off to be cleaned, so just keep it with you in your room and bring it out to feed. Returning after. Bring up hers from the basement for her to use with her kid. And when you're done visiting, put the tray in your trunk for your next visit. And speaking of loading things up in the trunk, it's time for me to hit the road as well. So if you want to hear some more crazy entitled parent stories, why not check out that video on the left of the screen? Or if you missed my latest video, why not check it out on the right of the screen? That said, I'll see you all next time with some more stories.